Enough Tarzan boy. We're ready to go. Let's make it happen. I see the top of Mr. Kevin's head.
Just the top?
It was just the top for that split second. But coming at you live from across the beautiful United States, I am Clint. Over there is Clint, and we are two Clints with one pavilion here. What's going on, man?
Hey, man, big chance for the Blue to, kind of take the driver's seat tonight. So I'm excited, and, maybe we can sit back and relax after tonight. I got the first place aviators on. True to my word, I'm going to wear these as long as we're in first, and I don't know if I'm going to be taking them off again.
I just put mine on. I'm ready to go because we mean business today, my friend.
We mean business. Yeah, this is a good trend. I mean, we might have to ride it through the playoffs if it continues to work. I mean, you stick with things that work. So
yeah, and if it's working, it's working. We were able to maintain that game and a half lead last night, even though it didn't quite seem that way. A bit of a struggle early on. Like you and I were talking a bit during the game yesterday about how that first inning was just so telling. The fact that they're only able to score one when you needed to come out of there with three to really make it appear like you scored anything. Them only giving up one run was good enough, as a blank inning for them.
Big time, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I started to try to get a little bit negative after that. I think in our our messages.
Yeah.
Inspiration. I felt like Kemp not getting that run in was going to come back to haunt us, and David Freese and company just wouldn't allow it. And I think later on, I went down the road that you don't want to go down, and joined a lot of our people on Twitter saying, I don't know how much I trust Kershaw. I was being a grouch. Ooh. And so he pulled it out. He had a Kershaw very workmanlike outing, and got the job done. But definitely wasn't the prettiest of wins last night. But hey, they all count the same. They all float.
It's let's say it's funny how blessed we are with Kershaw, because 6 innings, 3 runs is a bad start in our mind these days. And it just goes to show you the weight of the career that dude has had.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I just get cranky when, I've got him pictured in my mind as just on this pedestal, and he gives up these home runs to, I thought it was going to be Christian Walker, who we'll get to later, but he gives up a home run to Little Kettle Marte, and it just kind of got me hot under the collar a little bit. I feel like he's like too good to ever give up home runs to anybody but the elite, and it seems like a lot of these Punch and Judy type guys pick him off and pick his pocket, and it just got me going. But he did a great job, and again, we have lived a charmed life with him and continue to, and I think we're going to get one more start in San Fran. We might not, maybe we don't even see him pitch in San Fran if everything goes well.
Probably.
I'm not getting ahead of myself.
Short start, but I think either way, these next 5 games are going to mean something. But I think we're at a point now, and everybody that's on the live stream, we got you on Periscope, we got you on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. We'll go ahead and start checking that side. We're going to get to all the questions, like I mentioned over on Facebook. Go ahead and send us your area code, send us any questions. We're going to find a way to get to everything we can today. But first things first, let's set up tonight's game. It's a pregame show. Let's talk about a pregame. Go for it, man. Who's on the mound?
So real quick over on Periscope, want to get to those people. My friend Jacob Caldera is on, says thoughts and prayers for Christian Walker. Yeah. Definitely. And he said, what an awesome game by Freese last night. Bergman Greg asks, what do you think of pushing Hill to start Kershaw and Buehler over the weekend? And also Awakiag asks the same thing about Hill pushing to start over Buehler and Kershaw over the weekend. I'm not real sure what they mean, other than maybe using Hill instead of one of those two guys, right?
Yeah, I think it's really going to be dependent on where we at. If we're able to lock this thing up by like Friday, there's a chance you could rest. I would like to see Buehler go ahead and take not start those games, but the chance it would end up being just one of those those shorty 3-4 inning starts or something like that if there aren't playoff implications by that point. But really, the way it feels, you're going to need to run your best out there. And we lock up the division. The final game is on Sunday. You lock up the division. You're still not playing until Thursday, so you could just about throw anybody out there, and it shouldn't be a problem. But,
yeah, I mean, perfect world. And I looked, peeked ahead at the pitching matchups for the weekend. In some weird twist of fate, we're not facing Mad Bum right now.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? So we're going to get I forget who it is Friday night, but then it's Suarez left-hander, Holland left-hander to finish things out. But that's kind of nice.
So there are other lefty aces, because any lefty outside over the last platoon month or so, any ace has been kind of or any lefty has been kind of an ace against the Dodgers, it seems. But
I'm glad it's not Ty Blotch.
Yeah.
He
of perpetual no-hit stuff against the Dodgers.
Well, thinking about no-hit stuff, who do we have going tonight for the Dodgers? I'm just coming up short on his name.
You got this guy right here. Look at that. I got him on the screen. Walker Buehler from the last game I went to. I got the Dodgers Insider mag here. Eyes on the prize, man. Rookie Phenom, unafraid to set his sights high. He's going tonight, looking to pick up his 8th win of the season. Dude is clutch, man.
Yeah, he's been just so unbelievable. Our stats intern looked it up. Since that start at Dodger Stadium, the St. Louis start, since the last time he pitched against the Cardinals.
Yes.
He's 14 innings pitched, no earned runs, only 5 hits, and 21 strikeouts. I mean, he is he gives us a shot to I think go beyond what anybody could expect, like outside the Dodger realm. We all know how good he is.
Yeah.
I think pretty soon the world is about to find out how good he is. I think even my friends that watch baseball, I talk about this Walker Buehler fellow. They've heard his name. He's interesting to them, but I don't think they've really grasped like how special he is already and is going to be. And I think that this postseason is going to really vault him, into that spot.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If he's somebody that can put up this type of run, I saw a stat from last week, so it's old by now, but he has an ERA of like 1.5 over his last 10 starts or something, just something absurd. The kid is a beast. Buell Doggy, as I call him, your Buell Doggy dog. Yeah, I mean, if he could do half of what he's doing now in the postseason, I'll put my glasses back on. You'll know he means business.
Can't
believe this shtick, man.
What's that?
I can't believe this shtick.
Right? The guy we've got opposing us tonight, I like a lot for the Dodgers.
Yep.
I mean, in terms of guys we could face, we couldn't ask for a lot more. Matt Koch, 5-5, 4.26 ERA. I remember the night he pitched against us. I know Bellinger hit one to the moon. I think we lost like 4-2. It was at Arizona. He wasn't great. He's just kind of a run-of-the-mill righty. We get our left-handed A lineup back in there, like what Clinton and I like to call the A lineup.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to see this, and this will get us even if we win tonight. We'll be at 9-9 on the year against the Diamondbacks. I know it doesn't feel that way, but we've held our own.
I mean, do you remember early on, what was it, end of May, it seems like the only team we were facing was the Diamondbacks, and they kept winning. Now, I don't know the numbers since the second half of the season here facing them, but I know our wins are more than their wins, so that's how you win championships, kids. You win more ball games than the other guys. Just saying.
Yeah, my good friend of the show, Charlie Steiner, I was listening to him last night. I do weird things like that when things aren't going well. I'll switch it from TV over to Steiner for a few innings, and it does it works. It works for me.
Sometimes you need to make that sacrifice.
Sometimes in life you Steiner. And so he pointed out last night, he had his B-plus game going, that the Diamondbacks slide actually started that 4-game series at Dodger Stadium. They have never really been the same. They've never recovered. They're the worst team in baseball since that series. So
yeah, stats superhero Rick Krajewski on the internet, of course, friend of Joe Davis, personal friend of myself. um, Rick K talked about the roller coaster season of Arizona and how they pretty much, they were in first place at the beginning of just about every month, and then just tanked it from there. And they were able to, mercifully for us, get bounced and lose their playoff contention after being in the lead by 4 games at the just about the last week of August. So, wow, that's rough.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine. I know there aren't many, but I can't imagine being a Diamondbacks fan. You're thinking, I don't know what you're thinking about right now. You're thinking about the Cardinals in football. Maybe
it's the Diamondbacks. All they're thinking about is trying to keep the Dodgers out of the playoffs, and it's not going to happen by their hand. I would hope.
Yeah, it's a dirty, rotten thing. It seems like there's this conspiring to let's band up against the Dodgers just because they're there every year. We've got 2 managers who are division rivals between Bud Black and Torey Lovullo talking. Hey, play your best guys. Like, that shouldn't even need to be said. I mean, make sure you play your best guys because it's the Dodgers. I don't know. I guess I would want the same thing if the situation was reversed. But it's got a weird feel to it. It kind of feels like everybody wants to see us fail. But hey, when you're on top, that's how it goes.
I mean, that was the Yankees, and that's going to continue to be the Yankees. The Dodgers now have the narrative of, we buy the postseason, we buy championships, even though we still haven't purchased a championship to my recollection here. But so many people, you just don't want to see that team that's there every year anymore. You don't want to see them in there. The Yankees went through it. Now the Dodgers are kind of that guy, even though we see it through rose-tinted aviators here. We don't see it from that side because we get to enjoy it. But, over there in Philly, Gabe Kapler was the Dodgers roving farm manager, or whatever the hell his player development director last, handful of years. So he's got friends on this side. He would like to see his boys back there. In Washington, and these are the next 2 teams, by the way, folks, that Colorado will be facing. They're in Philly right now. They lost game 1. Tonight you got Vince Velasquez, which bodes well for the Dodgers because Vince Velasquez is an LA boy. He grew up an LA fan, as we noted on Twitter. He grew up an LA fan, and he's going to bring his best stuff to try to knock out Colorado. But you face 4 in Philly, and then you go to Washington, and that's 3 in Washington, where it could conceivably be Bryce Harper's last games as a National. So they're going to bring it.
I love our path a lot more than I love their path.
Yep.
I'll say that. I think they're actually playing at Coors, but that is a great point about Velasquez. Growing up a Dodger fan, Philly's out of it, but it's like, that there's nothing Philly would like more right now than to stick it to a team that's right on the brink of the playoffs. And that's another. I didn't think of that angle with Bryce Harper. This being his probably last weekend as a National. He probably does something, one of those games, goes bananas, hits 2 or 3 out, and it takes at least 1. And we're down to that point where you're like, well, they only beat him 1 game. But, if the magic number's 5, it could be down to 3 by the end of the night. Clint and I will touch on that. But if you can, go into the weekend and get that magic number down to 2 somehow, they're in bad shape.
Yeah,
so
that would be almost impossible to recover from this late in the season. But crazier things have happened, man. That's why you play 162 in baseball for some ungodly reason. It's a lot of baseball, but we're already sad the season's almost over. I say let's take a quick break and look at the stream a bit here. We got an Arizona fan. We got Alex Villar coming from the 480 Mesa. He's talking about he's going to be at the game tomorrow and Saturday in San Fran. So go Dodgers! Way to go, Alex! I'm proud of that guy right there, representing
That's awesome, Alex. Couple great days for that guy.
Yeah. Another Arizona guy right here, Johnny Rios, living here in Arizona. Y'all know what I mean. Hearing these nonsense Dodgers Nation always take over Chase Field. I don't know if that's one of our guys or one of their guys. That one didn't make enough sense to me. Maybe I didn't read it right. I don't know. I'm not wired up on that Mother's Little Helper or whatever that drink was you were talking about before the show.
So they're called Yellow Jackets, and they're
go.
actually you can buy them at any gas station. If you look at near any cashier gas station, they're really they're like look like a bumblebee, and it's a pill, and it's basically a caffeine pill. And like I was telling Clint, since we're going to be doing the post game tonight in absentia of our friend Greg Bergman, it's going to be pretty late here in Ohio, and I should have loaded up on the Yellow Jackets, which I've actually never taken, but maybe in the postseason.
Yeah, we'll have to be prepared for then. But yeah, we're gonna stay up. I put a little teaser up for everybody here. There will be the end post game after the game tonight with your boy Greg Bergman. So everybody, make sure you check that out right here on all these same Dodgers Nation channels you're on, and also ESPN Los Angeles Periscope. So everybody can participate in that and have a bit of fun with Greg Bergman, because that dude's a beast at that pregame or post game. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I mean, look at that headshot. I mean, that's just that's our boy.
That's him locked in.
He does a great job. I mean, I just checked him out, a month or two ago just to see what was shaking, and I got kind of hooked on it. And it became kind of part of my nightly routine. But he does a great job in getting everybody, tied in. Our fans and stuff really seem to have a good time with him. We've got a Bali Lopez wanting to know who we would want starting a game one. I think we've kind of been in agreement on that, for the last couple of weeks. But I'm a Buehler guy. Game one in the playoffs. To be able to throw Kershaw out there game two, I mean, that's really hitting somebody with a hammer. I mean,
yes.
That's not even fair.
Yeah, that's been my take. And actually, part of I'll throw this one up on the screen now. We got Blue Heaven, the podcast, new episodes every Wednesday. We're recording tomorrow's episode tonight, and I was kind of putting together some of my notes, and you see I got up on the screen here, I got my rotation: Buehler, Kershaw, Ryu, Hill in tandem with Ross Stripling. And I think that's just that's a gut punch to anybody you're going to face, which is most likely Atlanta in the playoffs. Lord Vin Scully willing. But that, like you said, that's a lot to take on, man. Buehler at his best.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, that's like the one thing we definitely did not have last year. We just didn't have a 1-2 punch like that.
Yeah.
It's gonna totally. I think it gives us, and we'll get into this a little bit later. It gives us that true ability, I think, to go out and win the World Series. And match a Verlander and whoever they want to throw out, Garrett Cole, number 2, whoever we end up with, it would give us that true chance to, plus Babe Ruth, as said. I mean, Babe Ruth, he's no joke. So it's been a game changer. I'm going Buehler game one, though.
Yeah, again, this is our take. This is what we would want to see. You're still most likely going to end up seeing Kershaw, because it's just the way it's going to end up. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I mean, still, you could throw Buehler out in the game too. That's
sure.
Huge in and of itself. Let's see. So we got a couple here from Mike Hemme over here on Facebook. One, a comment saying he's feeling more and more positive about this team, as are we all, Mike. So thank you. And wondering the odds of us re-signing Machado. What does your gut say?
It could go up after the postseason, but I put it around, maybe 20%, 25%.
That's reasonable. Yeah, I don't see it happening. So yeah, I'm taking the under on him coming back. If I'm saying that right, I don't know. I'm not good at all the stats.
Mike, you're much more likely to get Brian Dozier back. How's that sound? Oh. No, I'm just kidding.
I need to have the Price is Right losing horn right there. Oh man, but I mean, it would be nice to see him back, but I still think you're not gonna lose very much with one of the other greatest shortstops in the game when healthy, and Corey Seager. If some people don't remember that guy.
Yeah, we get Corey Seager back. That's a great offseason signing in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not a guy I enjoy watching more and miss him dearly every day. His steadiness, he'd be out there getting like 2 hits every night this week because that's just what he does. And when the ice thaws, we'll get Corey Seager back, and that's gonna be huge.
Yeah. Over on the Facebook stream, we also got our good friend AJ on the guitar, Mr. AJ Gonzalez, messing around. I think he's writing a good one. He's talking about how you're not superstitious, but maybe you're a little stitious, and that has to be.
I'm definitely superstitious, AJ. I try, like when the Dodgers win, to do everything the same way that day. I'm a little bit kooky. I take the same way to work, the same way home. And it only gets worse as the games get bigger. And actually, AJ, our Twitter cast ace, our captain, I'm going to need you to kind of clear your schedule as we get deep into the playoffs. Because again, we don't lose when you're running that Twitter, man. So you're going to be needed. And check out our Twitter cast during the game, guys. We're doing the play-by-play all week as we roll things down at Dodgers Nation on Twitter. We'll have the play-by-play going all this week, and then throughout the playoffs. So
let's give the folks a little bit of taste, a little taste of our Dodgers Nation Twitter. So every week, or I should say every game, somebody will run the Twitter cast as he's talking about, and we post what we call lineup fun around here. So we'll go ahead and go through the lineup. And Mr. Evans, you want to handle that one, or do you want me to do it?
You know what? You do it tonight.
All right, let me throw it up on the screen here. As we see, Joe West's best friend in left field, which that one is by far my favorite. Of course, Jock Peterson. Fraggle Rock at third base. I hear he's got a new gig in the NHL as well. Maximus Munzakis starting at the third spot. First baseman Machado Wood. I'm in on that. I can dig it. Ghetto superstar. Just bravo. I'm so proud of that one also. Puig, your hero. You damn right. Yazdrop El Pantos de Sexo, and his day on rounding out in the 9th spot and on the mound. How do we feel about this lineup?
Salt A-. I really like it. I think you and I are in agreement that like the one tweak we might make is maybe Taylor at second over Kike, but again, I'm not going to complain over spilled milk.
Yeah.
I'm glad you liked Ghetto Superstar.
Ghetto Superstar.
I haven't heard that song in like 20 years, and I heard it the other night when Cody stepped up to the plate. He got like two plate appearances. So I want to ask, it's like the tree falls in the forest type question. If a guy changes his theme song, his batter walk-up song, and then no more games happen, like did it really get changed? I don't know. I hope we get more games at Dodger Stadium just to hear that song blare. And it got some major run on social media, though. People like that.
Yeah. It's a damn good walk-up song, so kudos to that. It's better than anything Peterson has picked this year. Leaps and bounds. So we're very proud of you, Bellinger, to pick a song that came out, I'm assuming, several years before he was born. Oh, wait, no, he's older now.
He was 4 when that song came out. And I was getting my driver's license and bumping it on factory speakers of a Honda.
Calm down there, your age is showing.
Anyway,
man. We got Gus over here on Facebook side from New York. Loves his Dodgers. Thank you, Gus, for tuning in on East Coast time. This is a primetime show for him.
He and I both. It's good to have you, Gus. Yeah, if you guys are over on Periscope watching, I see the hearts pouring out, which we do love. But call out your area code and location, and continue to ask questions. Looks like we're getting a little dialogue about Joe West in that chat room. Touching on that real quick before we move past last night's game, what do you think? Joe West, he didn't let us down, did he?
You knew he was going to find a way to make his Joe West mark, put his West seal of approval on the game. I think he was slightly right in this one. Maybe a bit quick on the hook, but Peterson, you don't drop an F-bomb and make direct eye contact with the guy.
Do you think Jock knows the F word?
I that's what I posted on Twitter, is like, I'm surprised to hear such language from the boy.
Yeah, it was just probably a couple baby goo goo gaga. There's no way Jock said the F word, but yeah, I mean,
no, you heard it very clearly. I listened to the game in my fancy Bose 5.1 surround sound.
He
That's
definitely said the F word.
Oh yeah,
that was his first time then. But
first time offender.
That said, with West, I saw one of our fans who I follow on Twitter. I didn't know it was Joe West, but their reaction was my reaction. They were like, "Oh, who's the umpire? Oh shit, Joe West."
Of course.
And I started laughing because, again, you just never know what kind of mood he's going to be in back there. He got us earlier in the year with a Singrani balk call.
Oh, that was so bad. Him at first base in that particular case. Yeah, he always finds his way to make his mark. Him and, of course, the evil Angel Hernandez.
Yeah, so we survived not only the D-backs last night trying to do bad things to us, we survived Joe West. I mean, this team has overcome so much. We shouldn't see him behind home plate again until, I'm guessing, the playoffs, which hopefully he will not even be invited to do. But if we've survived Joe West for another year, but not without him waving that arm and giving Jock the old heave-ho last night.
Yeah, or at least somebody the heave-ho. So Adam on Facebook has a really good question. This is something I've pondered myself a number of times, and I've been saving it for probably one of the podcasts later, maybe closer into the off season, but. He asks, what are the chances of re-signing Babe Ruth? And a lot of people might not know, but yes, this is his last year under contract. He is a free agent. What are your thoughts on the Babe himself, Mr. Hyun-Jin Ryu?
I come away from every Ryu start like more impressed and more blown away and more surprised. Mm-hmm. I just didn't see this coming. I really didn't. He's run away with things as the number 3 starter in the rotation. He's a huge reason we're a game and a half up. As far as re-signing him, you have to think he's going to be a top priority, right, of the in-house guys.
Yeah.
I think it gets done. That's my sense. He probably likes it here. He likes his teammates. He's probably not going to get a much better offer elsewhere, and he might take one that's a little bit less to – just stay where he's comfortable. He's a good fit in Los Angeles. He's popular. He's going 3 for 3, getting knocks now. I mean, hopefully that doesn't up his demands any, right?
I mean, it's got to a little bit. You would think.
I don't think so.
You would think a little bit. That's just one little extra bit of flair for the kid to say, "Oh, look at me! I'm a potential." I can't. I don't know who's better in the National League, pitcher hitting wise to not win for him to not win the Silver Slugger. So it just pads his stats. So personally, I think he's going to be somebody the Dodgers will throw a qualifying offer at. I don't see why they wouldn't. But I would say he has to be pretty high on the priority list. I don't want to reach out as far as saying that I'd prefer to get him back over Kershaw if it was, one or the other. But I also don't want to restrict myself from saying that either, because you got a lot of bodies in that rotation that are pretty damn solid.
Maybe you're right.
Going into 2019.
Maybe this is not the end of the last run of Kershaw. Maybe this is the last run of Babe Ruth. Who knows? Stranger things have happened, but isn't it kind of the feeling is we're going to spend more this offseason?
Yeah.
We're going to, I mean, we stayed under the luxury tax, and that's going to give us more flexibility, and you're going to see that with, upgrades, this coming off season and in retaining our guys, which we've always been kind of good at that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of money coming off the books that I don't have it handy in front of me, but there's some dead money that's going away, like McCarthy money and some of the guys that were traded away. But I think there's technically only like 7 players signed or something for next season. So as of now, you're going to see a lot of payroll flexibility. And to thwart the questions now, no, I don't think I'm going to speak for both of us and say Bryce Harper's not coming to LA.
No way.
And we hope.
No way.
We hope.
Very much hope is not. Hope. A story broke about an hour and a half before we went on the air tonight. He was very sincere in this, saying he wants to go back to Washington.
No.
Now, not to make this Nationals nation or anything, but I think that he's kind of realizing he might get his most powerful offer from the team who holds his rights right now.
Yeah.
And he's he's not a dumb man. I think those comments are coming out for a reason, and rich ownership there. And I just don't see it, with the crowded outfield we already have. We've got great outfielders.
Yeah. I mean, Verdugo needs a spot to play. Tolles, I was at the game on Friday. Tolles was putting on a damn clinic in batting practice. That dude is ready, and you know what? He was dealt a bad hand this season, and then everybody started hitting, and then he had nowhere to play. But Tolles is somebody who needs to be in the big leagues, and preferably as a Dodger. So, just can't see it happening with Bryce.
Titano disagrees with me on Periscope TV. He says money talks. That we're wrong. That Harper he's got Harps coming to LA. Maybe. I mean, again, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate. How could you hate it? But
you can't.
I just don't think we need him. I know that sounds weird, but we've got so many great players.
Yeah.
I'd rather see. I want to see Puig back. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, that's something you can see a Puig extension happen more than that. Puig is somebody that's going to be, for lack of better terms of it, pennies on the dollar compared to what Harper's going to get. And he's somebody who plays. Harper's been, I think, -2 wins, a defensive wins above replacement this year. He's been really bad, and he's historically a bad defensive player. This year walks have been his saving grace for having still statistically a pretty good season. He finally got to 100 RBI for the first time in his career a couple nights ago. But I think just all the hype that comes along with it, and baggage more so. I don't know if it's worth it. A fantastic player. I don't know if it's worth it.
Yeah, I don't know how well the act carries over in LA either. You just different. Lot bigger media. Yeah. They're gonna catch a lot more remarks.
Oh, yeah.
Things become things.
Yep.
Things
become
in LA.
Things.
We've got a good comment here. A prediction from our friend FFM 9000. He says Buehler's going 8 scoreless tonight. So
I like it.
I can get behind that. I wouldn't be shocked, man.
That's what I guess that takes us to our picks to click. So guys, go ahead and let us know your call your shot, if you will. We'll read them along the way with you in the comments on whichever side they are for you. But we have them right there. Buehler, that's a solid start. I'm going with Peterson. I think Peterson will come up with 2 hits tonight. What about you? What
2
you
hits?
got?
Does one of those hits leave the yard, or just 2 hits?
You know what? I think he's going to be single, double, 2 runs scored, probably throwing a walk. Let's mix a walk in there.
Pete's got into one last night. I thought that ball was out.
Yeah. And that was with the new bat too. He cracked the Old Faithful, unfortunately, last night. So
yeah. No
peace.
cork.
No cork.
No cork. He's the man's clean. So, I went with the sentimental pick tonight, but he does have a couple knocks off Matt Koch and a home run. I'm going with Cody Bellinger.
Who'd have thought?
This probably won't be the last time you hear me do that. But it's like when in doubt, you reach for the girl that brought you to the dance. I think he hits his 24th home run. I think he lands on 24, finishes at 24 homers for the year. Last one comes tonight, and I will write my last column about it on DodgersNation.com sometime this week.
Yeah, you and that kid, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, so you're wishy-washy on Cody.
He's wishy-washy on the season, man. It looks like he's broken again. It looks like. I mean, he's still getting on base. The average is there, but when you have your legs doing one thing and your upper body doing another thing, he's got the 2-part swing going again.
So before I could even tweet it last night, he struck out on a perfect fastball down the middle from Archie Bradley, and like you said, that's all Archie throws. I mean, why would he be fooled? But before I could even tweet this. Folks, if you're out there, tell me if you agree. Watch Cody's stance. He is Ken Griffey Jr. right now. His stance is Ken Griffey Jr. It's like he's imitating Griffey in the box. It's that.
Yeah, I can picture quieter hands, but yeah.
I mean, he just not the result of Griffey, but the stance is he's been watching Griffey tape with Dad. I'm telling you.
I don't know if he should be switching it around so much, but if he could make channel his inner junior. I love it. And Clay over here, funny enough, Clay Blair has a Bellinger question. Says Bellinger hasn't even, or not even a question, but he says hasn't even been playing first. We got a great infield to work with in 2019 without Machado, and it's a lot of money that he's going to want. So yeah, I think that's another person on the same page as us, that Machado will likely be a one and done. And it's funny enough. We've talked a bunch, and you've seen a lot of Cyber Inc. spilled about Max Muncy. Why isn't he starting at first more? Funny enough, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the Dodgers' record is better by leaps and bounds with Bellinger starting at first over Muncy. I think Muncy's actually a few games under 500 when he starts at first. So it goes to show you how big difference that defense makes. Not to say he hasn't gotten better at first, but Belly would be the optimal fit there at first base.
Yeah, that's not entirely hard for me to believe, just because Belly's numbers as a first baseman are I think overwhelmingly better. A little better defense there, although I don't think like Max's defense has cost us too many games at first. No. But I think we've got a third baseman. A third first baseman. Very important to mention. Mr. David Freese last night might have trumped, in my book, that at bat he had in St. Louis. Yeah. Again, I felt kind of naked. I felt left for dead. What's he do? Robbie Ray on the ropes takes him out the opposite way. I mean, that's just again, that's veteran pennant race. It's just one of those moments that just shows you this was a good acquisition. Yeah. No matter what happens,
of all of the trades that have happened this year since June, because our boy Dylan Floro was a huge under the radar move, but Freese has been the best. We'll say offensive pickup for sure, but we could even lump in Madsen and Axford. So I'm saying since about trade deadline time, Freese is 375, batting 375 as a Dodger, over 1100 OPS. Dude is getting it done. And he brings to you, he gives to you veteran presence.
Yeah, he's not the prettiest fourth hitter in baseball, but
third now.
Yes, third last night. But it's hard to argue with the results, and he's the World Series MVP, and it's going to be interesting to see. He's not going to probably get a ton of at bats if we end up playing Atlanta. We could see the left-handed lineup start in Atlanta, and then they're bringing in guys like Johnny Venters, and they've got a few AJ Minter. We could see the righties coming off the bench against Atlanta, so that's where Freese could come in. I think big time, right-handed pinch hitter off the bench. He's a big-time weapon.
Yeah, either way, there's a lot of the 40 man is deep enough to withstand just about anything they could Atlanta can throw out.
We got to comment on Twitter real quick. Our friend Dodgers and Chill said she would tune in, but you just broke her heart by saying Belly's wishy-washy, man.
I'm sorry, Jen. I didn't mean you.
He's objective.
No harm.
He's objective.
Yeah. It hasn't been. They talk about the sophomore slump for a reason, and you know what? He's wishy-washy. I stand behind it. Reach at me.
Yeah. Her and I have talked about Belly before. I mean, I love him for the reasons that you love the worst kid in the class. If you're a teacher, like you love the class clown. That's why I love Cody at this point.
Which is why we get along.
That's right, man.
Yeah, right. I was the mess up in class. So yeah, me and Jock would probably, or me and Cody would get along fine. So let's we wanted to touch a bit also on the platoons kind of getting it done. But before we do that, I wanted to take a stroll here through Facebook, as we got the 916 representing over here. Thank you, Jim. 818 in the house with Oscar. So we're all around the world. We got Mike over here. Mike Barajas supporting from Baltimore. Got to be a Machado fan from there. 972 from the Dallas Burbs. Go Eagles. 310 Mike in San Pedro. We got to love that. We got somebody talking about Angel Hernandez should be excluded from the postseason, and that is 100% right. Salem, Oregon in the house. Look at this, man. We're flying high. Too bad we talk too much here. We're not as professional as Greg Bergman getting to our questions.
No, we're covering the globe, though. David Ojeda over on Periscope makes a great point. Freeze is the guy that we needed Granderson and FRG's friend Josh Reddick to be. Third time is a charm. That's a good comment.
I'm just
Great
mad
job.
that somebody brought up Reddick. But yes, third time's a charm, absolutely. We got a pick to click over here. We got Ernesto Mota Jr. talking about JT is due for a dong. And I agree on that one. Thank you, Mota. We're very proud of you for participating.
Well, with JT, when you're basically getting a hit every other time up, you're a great bet to hit a dong and be a pick to click. So that's a good call, Ernest. I mean, you can't go wrong with JT. It's like every time I need somebody to do something and step up, he hits one in one of the gaps.
I do have a note about JT, and it's more of an internal thing. It's that managerial grit that I have that I see. It's the old school in me, but I kind of see things aren't falling quite the same way they were there for that wonderful stretch. I mean, he's still on fire. He's still getting on base, but I think the curtain might be closing on his hot stretch real soon. I pray that I'm wrong. I pray to any deity that you guys support that I'm wrong. But
this is just gut feeling, right?
Yeah, it's just gut feeling.
I'm a big gut feels guy.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that, man. Like I could see nobody kill me. I could see like a 1 for 15 NLDS or something. You know what I mean? Something weird where he's hitting rockets right at everybody.
Yeah.
But
hard hit. Mm-hmm.
Hard hit. If nothing else, he has propelled us to where we're at. He has been like our MVP over the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks, what have you. Other than I guess Puig's had parts in that too. But yeah, Justin's been. Just that we ever got to see this, I didn't know it was going to happen at some points this season when he first came back. So it's been really just unbelievable, man. I mean, just to see he's like something insane, like 400, or he's around 400 his last, I think, month.
Yeah, let's see. I believe I have the stats somewhere relatively close. Let's see. We got him batting 375. Since I think it's since early August 2nd. He's slashing 375, 466 on base, 648 slugging. Homie's been locked in, but again, that's just I hope I'm wrong, but that's just sort of the feeling that I've kind of seen from him of late.
And as for his, did you have something? I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to move on, but if you have another one on it.
I was going to move on, too. I was going to touch base on his running mate in the order. Machado, do you think Machado is making a push to get to 40 homers?
That's been a concern that I had, and I made a note about that as well. It's like, last year Bellinger started falling apart when he was pushing to get that 40th home run, and everything just kind of really went to soup for him in the last 2 weeks of the season or so. Him sitting on 37, which is tied with his career high, Machado. I would hate to see him get another 2 and then the last day just try his damnedest to get that 40th. Or I mean, it's so late in the season, it's probably not going to be that much. You'd have to go on a decent run, which he's capable of doing to get to 40. But I hope that doesn't break him into the postseason like it did with Belly last year. That's
great thinking, man. I agree with you. I'm okay with getting this thing locked up in the next night or two, and giving your Machados, your Turners like a night off, or a game and a half off, and then just like not thinking about numbers from here on out. I'm with you.
Yeah.
We got we got some love for Manny here over on Periscope. Juliar Sheaves gives Manny with a big heart, and we got our friend Ty Knoll saying amen. So we do have some people checking us out on Periscope. We appreciate you guys watching.
We got Jose Macias talking about paying. He says, pay Machado his money, worth every cent. I mean, if he comes back, I can't say I'm going to be mad. And, the typical narrative is, put him at shortstop and move Seager to second. Into this season, Machado says, I want to play shortstop. I'm a shortstop. I'm done playing third. There's no saying that Seager wants to play second base. You have to think about that. And this is a dude who's a premium shortstop. He's unfortunately healthy right now, but he's going to remain a premium shortstop, as I cross everything I have, cross all the fingers and digits I can for that one. Machado comes back. That's huge, but that's also taking away a lot of money you could use in the future.
Yeah. I think it's highly unlikely, and if you guys read the headlines, read the Fisher app, Corey's already said, as far as I know, I'm going to be playing shortstop next year. And I think the GM was quoted in that same story and didn't really refute it. So we'll wait and see. I'm not going to complain if we get Manny Machado back somehow and things work themselves out. But
people should really view it as the summer fling that it is.
It's been a summer, exactly, man. It's been a fun ride, and hopefully we can get him a World Series ring that he was never going to win in Baltimore. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we got 323 representing Sandro. He's talking about Kike's the class clown. Well, obviously, he's the guy who would get suspended weekly. We know that one, Sandro.
No, we got a lot of class clowns, Sandro. Yes. I mean, the biggest one, obviously, is our right fielder, Mr. Batlicker himself. I mean, that guy, I can't even imagine what he did in class.
Oh, man, you're killing me here. Batlicker.
You know who wasn't a class clown? I bet Chris Taylor sat in the front row and took really good notes.
Oh, yeah. He was a
right?
He was a very astute learner, for sure.
Yeah.
Dustin 702 Vegas. He's bleeding blue and he's hashtagging Bueller. That's a smart pick right there if you're going pick to click. We got Ian talking about Muncy winning comeback player of the year. Plausible?
It's hard to win comeback player of the year
if you never had a good year.
So it's all hockey stick for Muncy.
Yeah. And he's representing from the 562, by the way. Thank you for the comment, Ian.
Very much. Yeah. It's a great discussion point. He should win something. Give him something at the state fair, because he's been, absolutely. I mean, he's just become one of my guys. I can't put it any better than that. Last night when he got that hit, and I just kind of like let out a sigh of relief.
I knew that. I knew that hit. I didn't call that one. It wasn't one of my called shots. I've done so many times.
I love your called shot,
but I felt it. I felt it in my soul. It was like everything about Ziegler versus Muncy that's not trying to just destroy the ball. It all lined up beautifully, and luckily it proved my gut feeling right there. What else was I going to say? I had another one. Whatever. Got the Rally Banana representing as well. There you go. Did we lose you? No, you're there. So
I'm here. I'm just reviewing.
Another one of the things we had touched on a bit ago as we start approaching the 50-minute mark here. So it's been a lot of fun with everybody, but a lot of the Cyber ink has been spilled about the platoon lineups and how come you're not going with the hot hand. Well, the hot hands have been kind of platoon driven. It's working, and I think you would agree with me that it's working.
Yeah, it's working.
I don't like that raised intonation there. It seems like you're okay with it working, but you're not on board.
Oh, Look, it's working, and I'm happy with it. I guess I need a little bit more to trust it. I'm afraid of it against a lefty who has not yet shown us himself. I'm afraid of it betraying us in a big spot, and any lineup can do that. But I don't know why I have that feeling that we're going to get a lefty in a deciding game, and we're going to need this lineup to get it done. And I just need a little bit more to trust it, and I'm okay with tweaking it. Okay, I'm okay with keeping it, but tweaking it. There are things we can do, like one of our friends of the site, Matthew Goddard, kind of mentioned, like in this platoon lineup, Dozier's playing pretty much every day against lefties and righties, except not tonight. Like it's that's where maybe we could play Muncy at second, or we could play Taylor or Kike and get an extra big bat in the lineup with wherever those guys slide over. There are things we could do to make it a little bit more effective. That's all.
Yeah, I think what they're really trying to. This is the trial run for Dozier. You're trying to see if he's going to have value into the postseason. If he's warranting that last spot. I mean, for me, he's on the bubble. If you're looking at between him or an Utley or something like that, it's actually kind of a hard pick, even though Utley doesn't warrant a spot based on his skills. He warrants it based on being dad for being pop. But yeah, this is really just an extended. This guy has been historically a good second baseman in his career. If he can find something, if he can unlock it and start mashing, he hit the ball, he squared it up pretty well last night. First inning comes to mind. He just hit it at the wrong spot, so maybe those will start falling. It looks like now it's starting to teeter into bad luck or anything like more so than just eroded skills and potentially a knee injury.
Yeah, Chase Dadley can surprise you. I mean, I'd be okay with I think him at this point over Dozier. I flip a coin. I mean, he's made it. They've made it at least interesting. Those two, if you're deciding on one or the other in the postseason, and it is interesting. They are giving at least some playing time. It seems like they are, like you said, they are kind of trying to make some type of decision. And who are we comfortable with? I think they're asking themselves.
Yeah, and Mota's over here. Ernest Mota's talking about him being a player coach, and even if he's not on the active roster come postseason time, he's still going to be hanging out. He's going to be there. He's going to be part of the the traveling squad. Him hanging out with Brook Me Three's boy Tim Locastro, hanging out, taking BP, but not suiting up for the games.
Yeah, he'll have a nice fall pullover on, won't he?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. He'll look pretty. One note I had, though, to kind of get back to the platoon and how it's kind of been working as a whole. Friend of all of our hearts, Rick Krajewski, had a note that Joe Davis posted on Twitter. We're talking about the Dodgers have 6 of the top 12 hitters by OPS in the National League in September. Puig being first, which is kind of a shocker, but not really. David Freese coming in third, Taylor fifth, Jock 7th, Turner 11th, and Muncy 12th. That's some pretty solid company, and it goes to show if you hit the right hands against the right pitchers, it's working out. So honor thy platoon, guys. I'm on board with it now. I'm in.
Wow. So I'm mostly in, and I trust Dave Roberts. It's hard to doubt him now, especially if he clinches here in the next few days. He's gotten us through 3 pretty tough spots late in a pennant run to this could be his 3rd division crown in a row. It's tough to bet against Roberts. He knows way more than I do, and the people who are telling him things know way more than I do. So live and die by what they do, and what choice do we have?
Yeah, exactly. We can complain about it all we want, but 1, we're not going to make a difference, and 2, thankfully, it's working. So let's. I think it's about time we look at the Dollar's touch, and I got myself. I'm prepared. Hopefully, it doesn't start with a commercial, but I'm prepared. I got a little music for it, or a little sound bite.
Oh boy.
Let's see.
Big money, big prizes. I love it.
That's right. Throwing back the Smash TV, gang. Arcade.
I thought it was going to be Pink Floyd. Money.
Nah, that one will probably get hit. Better. That one will probably get hit by the censors. The censors. Big money, big prizes. I love it. Tell us about that line, man. The Dollars are touching here.
Yeah. So if you guys, your weatherman meteorologist here, Clint Evans, taking you through what we're seeing. Basically, what we're seeing is more people, of course, are taking the Dodgers tonight. 66% of bets on them. The line opened at -200. That's climbed up to 220. That is a very positive sign. Again, if there was some feeling by the people that set these lines, who use computers, simulations, there was some feeling that like we were going to drop this game, or maybe that Arizona was going to kind of hang with us a little bit, you'd see them making us a little bit cheaper to bet. That would drop below that 200. And we've actually so my feeling is that the Dodgers roll tonight. I feel really good about it. I think that it could be like a 6-1, 6-2, something like that. But in Dollar's touch, I feel really, really good about the Dodgers winning. But we have a second half of the installment. But what's your feeling, real quick, Clint, on the game tonight?
You know what? I kind of feel like I like the line. I'm feeling a win with Buehler on the mound against this Coke nobody. If it was a lefty, I would assume that it would end up being a loss. But we got a righty going against us and a bunch of hot left-handed batters. And
one point I want to make real quick: these lines right here, there's that 200 and that 220. That reminds me that those numbers remind a guy like me of when Kershaw was like at the top of his game. Those were the numbers you saw every day. If you looked at those things, that's what it costs to bet Clayton Kershaw when he was at his best, sometimes a little bit higher. But that's the respect that Buehler's commanding right now.
Yeah.
So he is being recognized. He's costing people, big time money to win money on, because that's how dominant that he is.
Yeah.
And we have a second half of that installment, correct?
Yeah, as I say, we have Colorado living. So Colorado tonight, like we mentioned earlier, they're facing Vince Velasquez of the Phillies, who grew up a Dodger fan. So what's your take on that as I put it up on the screen?
Yeah, so this is a beautiful example of what I was talking about before. Like, you're seeing most people by a huge margin are betting on Colorado. 75% of bets on Colorado, yet it opened at minus 150 and it's dropped. Now, what that means is there's a sneaky feeling that Philly's going to be in that game tonight by some very smart people. So they're kind of trapping people. They're going to let people go ahead and bet Colorado, make it easier for them to be bet. And that could mean that that's the wrong side. I have a very good feeling that Philly wins tonight, the Dodgers win tonight, and the magic number is down to 3 by night's end. And it's not just because of this. It's Chad Bettis and Velasquez too, as Clint was saying earlier. But this was a really good thing for me to see this afternoon.
Yeah, I feel good about that. I keep feeling better and better about LA's chances, our chances of ending up the division with that 6th straight division crown. Philly's throwing a Dodger fan on the mound tonight. You got Jake Arrieta going on Thursday, which is going to look good. It's kind of a nobody matchup on Wednesday. I was really hoping they'd get an Aaron Nola in there, but it didn't work out. And then Washington, like we had mentioned before, there's all the hype of it likely being Harper's last weekend, but Washington is lined up to send out Strasburg and Max Scherzer. So I know there's been chatter about Scherzer might not make that start if he gets to 300 Ks, a la Kershaw, what feels like so many years ago when he got that 300 strikeout season. But I really can't see Scherzer, if there is playoff implication on the line, I can't see him just lying on a sword and not starting.
Yeah, you're right. He'll get like 5 innings, 6 innings or something. I wouldn't want to be them. They've got to run the gauntlet. At this point, we would really have to lose it. I feel, we're getting to that point, and to where they've got 6 games left, we've got 5 games left. Like, if they go 4-2, we're going to have to go 2-3 to lose this thing, I think.
Yeah.
So it's getting down to that point, where if we win tonight, we'd have to go 1-3. So we're just pecking off a little bit at a time.
Yep. And
we are right now, we are 96.8% per Fangraphs playoff odds to make the playoffs, and then with our eyes on the larger prize, we're over 20% to actually win the World Series by that projection model. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, no, it keeps getting better. Actually, I have that playoff update for you. Throw it up on the screen now. Yeah, I mean those numbers we can see up on the screen, they just keep getting better and better. If you're at almost 97% chance to at the least make the playoffs, but 91% to win the division, that's just something you feel good about.
Yeah, I mean, give me. You tell me I've got a 96% chance at something, like I'm spending that money before it shows up to my house, and you tell me I've got a 20% chance at something. You tell a guy like me that, and I take that as a yes all day. So, no, that's awesome. I mean, I like looking at that every day. I don't look at it after losses, but after wins, absolutely. Quick out of town scoreboard update too. Everything coming up Dodgers. We've got a 2-0 Brewers lead in that game. A home run by Jesus Aguilar and a home run by old Ryan Braun.
Okay.
So again, we can.
They're playing St. Louis, right?
They're playing St. Louis, so that's and it's in St. Louis, so that's a big time positive for the Dodgers and the Rockies, really.
Yeah. They want St. Louis. I mean, I would love to not have to go back to Colorado. And that was something we were talking about just before the show too, that obviously if you face Colorado in the postseason, there's going to be the narrative of Kenley Jansen going to Colorado, and he outright said, "Hey, you know what? I'm going." Yeah, and there's the plan to get what was it? He's going to get the off-season heart surgery again after the World Series is all over. But I think he's eyeballing a deep postseason run himself.
Yeah, and my only concern with that, I like the bravado, and I'd love to see him give that a shot. But it's like if it doesn't work out, could create a pretty big distraction for our team.
Yeah.
You're scrambling for that extra guy. You're scrambling to find a closer. Real quick, any concern for you on Kenley? I know I saw Kevin talking about it, Kevin of Blue Heaven podcast, talking a little bit about his concern with Kenley as our closer heading into the postseason. How do you feel about it right now?
I think everybody's kind of felt a little bit of the same of late about Kenley. He just hasn't been producing in non-save situations. It looks like the adrenaline is really the biggest driving factor for him, and probably in those non-save situations, he's kind of thinking about his mechanics. It's also, this is this late into the season, and they're still going over mechanical adjustments. That's a lot to take out on the field with you. You continue thinking about it, and it's like a golf swing. You're here. You're trying to figure out how to load up a certain way on your swing or something like that. It doesn't work out when you're hitting. If you're thinking too much about when you're throwing, it's not going to work out, and things start just getting out of whack. And your same drive and motivation to as they said it in Major League, to strike this effer out, it's just not there the same way. But overall, I think come postseason time, there's not a guy I would want in the 8th/9th inning more than Kenley Jansen. Yeah,
and it's been we've got a nice article about it on DodgersNation.com right now by our friend Dodger Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Our bullpen, SD Dodger Tim, our bullpen around Kenley, their hands been kind of forced, and they've been forced into high leverage roles, and because of that, I feel a little bit better about the guys surrounding Jansen than I did the guys last season. It became, really after the starter, we were going to Jansen or we were going to Morrow, and they were not going to put Fields into a game. We don't really have a guy right now that's going to make the postseason roster that I think falls into that category.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at what I'm kind of seeing as the likelies. Stripling I'm really strongly on the idea of Rich Hill and Ross Stripling being tandem starters in one game, but you're looking at Stripling, you're looking at that one guy's name that you just said that I'm not allowing myself to say. So I'm just walking away from that name. So go ahead and say it for the fans so they know who we're talking about.
You're talking about
everybody's favorite punching bag. You just said it.
You're talking about
we're not talking about say it rhymes with Buez.
Oh, you're talking about Petey.
Yeah, I am not
allowed.
No.
You don't want.
He's on my roster, but I am not allowing myself to say his name anymore.
Gotcha. I'm sorry.
He's Voldemort. I'm gonna call him Voldemort from here on out.
He's
Voldemort.
So perfect.
Caleb Ferguson has just been so clutch at getting these big time outs in any situation that he's thrown in. So, Fergie can absolutely do something. But you got let's start from the top, from the bottom there, I guess you can say. You got Kenley Jansen, you got Scott Alexander and Kenta Maeda. Oh, wait, we haven't talked about our boy Dylan Floro yet. I mean, that is a deep bullpen, and at this time of year, you look at last year, Roberts had no faith in anybody in that bullpen outside of Morrow and Jansen.
It's a huge reason. It's a huge reason I gave us a shot to truly win it all.
Yeah.
And I'm not just being a homer. It is a true, aside from Walker, aside from the lineup that hits bombs, it is a deep bullpen. We didn't even talk about Scotty. We talked about Dylan, but not Scotty.
Yeah, I threw him in there that he's there at the back. But yeah, like the fact that you could just kind of glance over his name shows you that they're pretty locked in. If you're not the closer, anytime you're part of the narrative, you did something bad. when it comes to being a bullpen arm. And you know, we've talked about this stat before, but since May 17th, still the Dodgers bullpen is first in the National League with a 3.31 ERA and has held hitters to a 222 average, which is also leading the National League. So this is they're not as bad as we make them out to be in our minds.
No, they're actually quite good. And if you're down in that pen, down in that pen, you know, you've got to earn your keep. You know, it could be something where if you don't do well one postseason series and we advance, you know, you might be yanked and replaced by somebody who they feel could be more effective. So best situation available. We got a couple people saying, "Let's go Dodgers." Catch y'all later. Thanks for joining us, Reeks Peas and Tommy B a lot over on Periscope. We appreciate everybody that's tuned in tonight. It's been a fun show so far.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much hitting that wrap up point because I got to get over and start prepping to record the Blue Heaven Heaven podcast.
Blue Heaven podcast, the granddaddy of them all.
Over at DNHQ in South Pass. But I had a question over here on Facebook earlier, and I pulled up the stats while we were chatting. But Sandro back from the 323 here. He's saying it'd be interesting to see Machado hit in San Fran, and if anybody knows what he has hit in San Fran in his career, he's a career 276 hitter. Only was 8 for 29. So nothing major, no power. He has 3 total doubles, but no dingers. I think he will definitely play up in you know, a series that means that much.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I think again, you hope he's not staring down the barrel of 40 homers or something weird like that. But again, he's going to get a couple of lefties in that series that he could. And honestly, Derek Collins not a very good lefty at this point in his career. That's a guy our good righties should tag. And I don't know a lot about Suarez. I've seen him pitch a couple times, but again, he's not Mad Bum. And this should be a series this weekend where guys are just hopefully trying to, you know, just stay loose and win a couple ball games and just get ready for bigger and better things. Yep,
I agree. Let's hopefully the weekend doesn't mean as much as Friday could mean, but let's put it away.
Yeah, man. It's been a great show tonight, and you know, hopefully in a night or two we're popping bottles, you know, over the cell phone.
Yeah, I got
champagne emoji.
Yeah, I got some champagne over here. I'll have to FedEx you one so we're prepared. But
yeah, I might do something like I go out on my lawn and like light a cigar and put it on Dodgers Nation social media with approval from the boss or something. But we'll have to do something to celebrate. But yeah, I mean, you got anything else before we go wheels up?
No, just to hype what we got. Again, we got Blue Heaven coming out tomorrow morning. Dodgers Nation DN post game with Bergman coming out after tonight's game. So make sure you guys come back and hang out with him. Let's talk about a win. Hopefully we don't have to gripe about a loss. You know, guys, let's have some fun with him.
Yeah, it's been a great pregame. I think we get the win tonight. It's going to be a happy night for all of us. And hopefully, Clinton, I see you sometime soon again doing this. It's been a blast, man.
That's right. All right. Go ahead and flip that stinger up. We out.